Next on stage, NPP National Executive Committee member and Specialist Dr. Rizvie Salih to oblige us with his words of inspiration.
මේ ගෞරවනීය ආරාධනය ජාතික ජනබලවේගයේ ජාතික විධායක කමිටු සමාජික විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍ය රිස්වි සාලෙහ් සහෝදරයාට
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everyone, Vanakkam. Respected religious dignitaries of all denominations, my dear brothers and sisters, we gather here today at a critical juncture in our nation's history. Our beloved motherland Sri Lanka stands at the crossroads, and the decisions we make in the coming weeks will shape our future for generations to come. This is not just another election that we are envisaging. On the 21st of September, we have an opportunity for real change, for reawakening of our national spirit, and for the rebuilding of our communities, which have suffered under decades of divisive politics and poor governance. Why are we here today? I know a lot of brothers and sisters here came quite early. They probably closed their shops early, left their workplaces early, gathered their family members and was present here today. It is for the simple reason that for too long we have remained on the sidelines, distant from the political affairs of our motherland. But this apathy, this carefree attitude about politics has costed us tremendously. It has costed our safety, our dignity, our businesses, our careers, our peace, and ultimately our very existence here in our motherland as equal citizens. Today, the people who have patiently waited for a change in both the economic and socio-political culture of this country have finally got an opportunity. Patience has finally paid. We know that this government today, the last March, postponed and then cancelled the local government election, which was a right of the people. Thereafter, even this presidential election for 21st of September, they tried every possible means to not have it or to postpone it. Finally, the will of the people and the constitution of our motherland became victorious. Also, we must briefly recall what was the situation in this country during the past 2019 elections. We were divided. Muslim society, the Muslim community was ostracized. There was divisive politics. This started off, as you all remember, it started off like a serial drama. The first episode started when somebody from somewhere said that the Muslim community of this country by 2015 is going to be the majority community in this country. Thereafter, episode 2 came up sometimes. They said the Muslim hotels were lacing their food with substances that could make men and female sterile. Thereafter, the third episode came where they said Muslim textile shops were selling undergarments with impregnated material in it that could make women sterile. The people, for no fault of theirs, believe this, because when it comes to matters of religion, race, language, we as a society are very sentimental. We would stand out and we would, once it's told over and over again, we believed it. The people, the majority community, the majority of these people believed it. So much so that even some of the Muslim community people also believed that this could be true. Whereas this was not so. This was orchestrated. Do not forget that the Yahapalane, it was during the Yahapalane government that the treacherous Easter bombing took place. That is, it was during the government of Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajid Premadasan at the bomb went off. We always overlook this fact, but this is what really happened. Until today, no amount of justice, no amount of commissions have been able to finally find out who the mastermind behind this treacherous act was. Anukumara Dishanayaka and the Jatika Janabala Media, the NPP, has always stood by the statement that elections can be won on a racist agenda, but a country can never be governed on a racist platform. So we always stand by that statement. Today, with the country in bankruptcy, the health system riddled with corruption, the education system in shambles, a totally inefficient public administration, and the law of order situation that deteriorates by the day. The issues today are different. The masses who once fooled and brainwashed on racist agenda are no longer prepared to be taken for a ride anymore. I'm sad to say our health services is in shambles and it is in a very deplorable state. It's actually, I'm sad to say, as a doctor, when somebody asks me about what happened, the crisis in the health department, they tell me, your minister, who was the Minister of Health, is in jail. Yes, it's such a shameful act. It's such a shameful that the Minister of Health of a country is in jail. And for what was that? For he was found guilty of being involved in purchases of inferior quality drugs. By the way, this was not due to ignorance. This was totally, it was done for profit, and it was totally going to be for profit, not out of ignorance. As we know, when it comes to purchases of drugs by the State Pharmaceutical Corporation and the NMRA, there are checks and balances that are built into a system that has been in operation for years. But the sad thing is, when corruption begins at the top, no amount of checks and balances could stop that type of corruption. So unfortunately, this is exactly what happened. Our state services have become equally ineffective. You go to any state service, people are actually blaming the state services, they're putting the blame on the government. Yes, the blame should be on the governments that have been there so far. You all notice where a presidential candidate sits under a tamarind tree, handing out jobs. And what is the qualification? Is that whether someone pasted posters for him, or someone manned his election officers, or for those who went canvassing for him, with no regard for their qualifications or suitability for the job. We have seen how the same individual handed over jobs. Tall people were given security jobs and short people were given laborers jobs. What kind of administration can we expect from such individuals? We have a responsibility to our community, to our families and to ourselves, to vote for a candidate who represents our values, our hopes and our vision for the future. We must vote for the candidate who will bring about the change so we desperately need. The era of divisive politics has, as I said, must end. We have had enough of it. We must come together as one people, united in our country for our community, for our desire for a better future. We cannot allow ourselves to be divided by race, religion, language any longer. I also wish to remind my brothers and sisters, while we unite within our community, we must also unite with all communities of Sri Lanka. We must stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters from all backgrounds and work together to build a nation that is prosperous, peaceful and just. I would also like to tell you something once more. There are, at the moment, at times of election, there are lots of false misconceptions, false stories about us circulated in WhatsApp and other multimedia channels. Very recently, and also very common thing is, our enemies, those who see defeat at their faces, and those who fear accountability, they have gone on to say that when the NPP government comes into power, religious restrictions will take place. Azan would be stopped over the loudspeakers. This is totally false. At no stage have we ever said that we will stop religious prayers or religious or the call for Azan over loudspeakers. So this is a mischievous attempt to divert your attention, to put a fear of the NPP government, which they know will definitely be established on the evening on the 21st of September. So this is the fear that I put into you. It is never our intention to do that. Also, the other fear they put on the urban dwellers like you all present here. What fear they put is that we will take over their houses and cars. At a meeting about 3 months ago, one lady who is sitting here right in the front row here, she asked a question. She asked, a lot of my friends tell me, you and your husband live alone, your children are abroad, you have a big house. When the NPP government comes into power, they will bring 4 other families and put it in your house. You will have to share your house with 4 other families. These are absurd things. I don't know from where they can imagine this. Another thing they say, they will take over your businesses. We are not coming to take over anybody's business. We are coming here to improve businesses. We will bring about economic democracy. You can compete with anybody on equal platform. Today, if you want to open something, you want to put as a new investment, you want to bring, no, you cannot bring. You must be somebody. You must be known to a politician to get all those facilities, their perks and their advantages. But we will certainly bring in what is called economic democracy, where all citizens will have the right and all the equal opportunity to do whatever business we recognize the private sector as an engine of our economy. If the private sector does well, that is where the employment will come to the people of this country. If the private sector does well, that's where the taxes will come. Without the private sector doing well, we tell you, this country will never prosper. So we are all for it, and this is the lies that they bring about, whereas we are just a contradiction to what they say. Another thing, when they go to villages, they give a different story. It's not possible to go to a village and say they will take over your houses. They don't have any houses. But if they go and tell in the villages, they tell them, when the government comes, they will cut the samurti. They will cut other social welfare grants. This is the type of lies and falsehood they spread. Anybody believes that we will destroy we will take over the houses of the people in the urban areas, close down their businesses, take off the samurti? Thereafter, who is going to live in Sri Lanka? It's just a few of us of the NPP. I mean, this is the most absurd statement they said. Once again, I wish to remind you all that we, the NPP, is a progressive party. We would adjust to changing times, yet hold on to unchanging principles. Another thing, they try to attack us and put you all off, put the voters off. Another very thing they say is that they are the only people who can speak English. Some of them also claim they can speak Japanese. Probably picked it up from the teledrama those days called Oshi. They say we are the only people who can maintain international relationships. We are the ones who will get ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීම පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ අපිට විතරයි. අපිට තමයි ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. එහෙම තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ. So ඒ හින්දාම තමයි මම වැදුවා අද ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන්ම කතා කරන්න කියලා. I will tell you all what they have done with regard to international relations with one incident that I underwent. I had to attend a conference on women and child and I wouldn't name the country, in a European country. So when I went and landed there, මම පොඩ්ඩක් සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ පොඩ්ඩක් හරියට තේරෙන්නේ කියලා. මම එහෙ ගිහිල්ලා බැස්ස වෙලාවේ ඉමිග්‍රේෂන් එකට කියනවා රිග කියු එකක් තියෙනවා. මම ඒ කියු එකේ ඉන්නවා. මගේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එක දැන් මෙහෙම අල්ලගෙන ඉන්නේ. මේකේ කියනවා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමාජවාදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමාජවාදී ජනරාජ්‍ය. මම අල්ලගෙන ඉන්නේ ඉස්සරහින් ඉන්න මැලේසියාවේ කෙනෙක් යාගේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එක අල්ලගෙන. පිටිපස්සේ ඉන්නවා බ්‍රූනයි වගේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ මගේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එක දැක්ක ගමන් ඉස්සරහින් ඉන්න කෙනා අඩි දෙකක් ඉස්සරහට ගියා. මම බලනවා පිටිපස්සේ ඉන්න කෙනා අඩි දෙකක් පස්සට ගියා. ඇයි එහෙම කරේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා අපේ නායකයෝ හොරු කියලා. ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා අපේ නායකයෝ බැංකුවල බැංකු කැඩුවා කියලා. ඉතින් මේගොල්ලෝ බය වෙලා දැන් යන්නේ ඉස්සරහට පස්සට යන්නේ මම උන්ගේ පොකට් එකටවත් ගහයි කියලා. ඒකයි ඉන්නේ ඇත්තටම. ඊට පස්සේ කොහොමයි පාස්පෝර්ට් එක උඹ හංගන තියාගත්ත මේකයි කතාව කියලා මේක පේන්නේ නැතුව තියාගෙන මෙන්න ගියා වීසා කවුන්ට් එකට. වීසා කවුන්ට් එකට ගියාට පස්සේ වීසා ඔෆිසර් මං ගියා බලනවා කොලේ බලනවා පාස්පෝර්ට් එක තියෙන ඊට පස්සේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එකේ අර වීසා කොලේ අත ගගා බලනවා මගේ මුහුණත් බලනවා. අනිත් අය මම බලාගෙන හිටියේ කිව්වේ ඉන්නකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ ගියා දුන්න සීලේ යහුව ගියා යන්නේ. දැන් මං ගාව මගේ තමයි වීසා කොලේ අත ගහන්නේ තියාගෙන. අත ගහනවා මුහුණ බලනවා. අහමු නැති ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ මම මිනිත්තු 20ක් වගේ ගියාගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර දෙන්නේ. කවදද ආවේ මොකටද ආවේ කොහෙද ඉන්නේ කායක ඉන්නේ සල්ලි කොච්චර ගෙනාවද? ඉතින් ඔක්කොම මම උත්තර දෙනවා ඉඳගෙන උතන මිනිත්තු 20ක් විතර යාළුවෝ ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු බලනවා. ආපහු ලයිට් එකටත් අල්ලලා බලනවා. මොකද්ද බලන්නේ? ඒ වීසා එක ව්‍යාජ එකක්ද කියලා. He wants to make sure that this is not a forged visa because he knows our rulers forge money. They even forge currency. So these people know. So he worried if this man's rulers can forge currency, why can't he forge a visa? කොහොමයි ඒකත් අරගෙන දැන් ගියා අම්මෝ ඊට පස්සේ සීලේ ගහපු ගමන් පපුවේ පොත් නිකන් කූල් වුණා මගේ. ඕක අරගෙන යනකොට බලනවා මම පේන කස්ටම්ස් කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. බෝඩ් එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා කස්ටම්ස් කියලා. මිනිස්සු ඔය පාස්පෝර්ට් එක පෙන්නලා යනවා එළියට යනවා. පාස්පෝර්ට් එක පෙන්නලා යනවා එළියට යනවා. මම කිව්වා අම්මෝ දැන් කරදරේ වෙන්නේ දැන් මාත් වගේම පාස්පෝර්ට් එක පෙන්නලා එළියට ගියා නම් හරි කියලා. ඔතන ගිහින් මගේ පාස්පෝර්ට් එක උඩ මම යනකොට පොඩ්ඩක් එතන යා මොකද වාඩිලා ටංගල් නැගිට්ටා. නැගිටලා කිව්වා අතන බල්ලෙක් පාඩි වෙලා ඉන්නවා යන්නේ. ඔය බල්ලට මොකද කියලා මං ගා ඌ බල්ල මාව ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා දැන්. කාර්යනේ නෑ මාව තමයි ඉන්නේ. ඒ මං ගංගාවේ ඉන්න මාව ඉන්නවා. මොකටද ඉන්නේ? ඔය ඩ්‍රග්ස් වලට. ඩ්‍රග්ස් වලට ඉන්න බල්ලේ K9 කියලා ඌට මේ 70කුත් දාලා කියනවා. ඉවිනා මගේ බෑග් එක නම් ස්කෑනර් එකට දැම්මා. 4 සැරයක් දැම්මා ස්කෑනර් එකට. මොකටද ඉන්නේ ඔය? ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්නවා කියලා මේ වගේ ඩ්‍රග් බැරන්ස් ඉන්නවා කියලා. මේගොල්ලන්ගේ රටේ. ලැජ්ජයි ඇත්තට කියන්නේ ඉන්න තමයි ඉවිලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ මම අර රාශියේ මට පේනවා එළියේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු මට මම ඔතෙන් දෙන්න කලින් එළියට ගියා. ඔතන ඉන්න ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ නෑදෑයෝ ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ බදා ගන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඉන්නවා ඉඹිනවා මාව බල්ලා ඉන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ මගේ බෑග් එක ස්කෑන් කරනවා බලනවා දන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවනේ අපේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්නවනේ මේ හොරකමින් මේ මොකද රත්තරන්ම ගෙන අපේ කියලා ඒක මුස්ලිම් එක්කෙනෙක් දැක්කේ මට. ඌවගේ තමයි අපිට ඒක අපේ ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීම. දැක්ක නේද අපේ මෙච්චකම් අපිව රජ කරපු අය මෙච්චකම් පාලනය කරපු දේශපාලකයෝ අපිට මොන වගේ ජාතික පිළිගැනීමක් ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීමක් කියලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒකයි කළා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියනවා ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීම ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ කපටි වැඩවලට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඩීල් වලට අන්න ඒවට ඉන්නවා ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීම. ඒ වගේ ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීම නැවි අපිට ඕනේ දැන් මේක යන්න මේ තත්ත්වය තවත් බරපතල වෙනවා. යන්න බරපතල වුණා මේකට වෙනසක් කරන්න ඕන නම් එකම වෙනස තියෙන්නේ එළමෙන 21 වෙනිදා එන මාසේ සැප්තැම්බර් 21 වෙනිදා චන්දපුරට ගිහිල්ලා ජාතික ජනබලවේගයේ අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක සහෝදරයාට පස්සේ දාලා අපේ දූදරුවන්ගේ අපේ පරම්පරාවට හොඳ ජාත්‍යන්තර පිළිගැනීමක් අරන් දෙමු. දැන් මම තව එකක් කියන්නම්. මම again, why they were able to go to this park. This park is a wild. Manga did again to the end of Paramaragani. But a banner, a golden leave the Venus. එදා අම්ම කෙනෙක් කියලා කියන මම මේ කතාව අහලා දැන් hina වුණානේ ඒක මේක අහලා දැන් අඬන්න මේක hina වෙන්නේ ඒකත් අඬන්න ඕනේ මේ කතාව අහලා අඬන්න එපා මම අඬලා තියෙනවා එදා ළමයි අම්ම කෙනෙක් කියනවා බබාලා හතර දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා පිරිමි දෙන්නේ ගෑනු දෙන්න මම ඇහුවා පිරිමි ළමයි කොයි ඉස්කෝලේද යන්නේ කියලා ඉස්කෝලේ නමක් මේ ගෑනු ළමයි නෑ ડોක්ටර් මම එවන්නේ නෑ ගෑනු ළමයි මම කොහොමද ගෑනු ළමයි එවන්නේ නෑ මට බෑ මට මේකට සල්ලි ගෙවන්න බෑ I can't afford to send these girl children to school. Doctor, I had to pay for their uniforms, I had to pay for their books, their shoes and everything, so I just can't afford. So me and my husband decided we will just educate the boys and these girls are going to stay at home. You stop a girl child, I asked which class, grade 5 and grade 7. You stop a girl child from grade 5 and grade 7. In 5, 7, 8 years and her classmates will be in universities, they will be in jobs, doing courses of accountancy or whatever in today's vast field of education. This child is going to grieve. These two children are going to cry. My father didn't have money, that's why I am left here. If this doesn't make you sad, I don't know what heart this is. One day another lady came, she was so weak and emaciated. I have seen her before. So weak and emaciated. I told her, Ma, I don't know how I can tell this without feeling sad. She said, Doctor, she said, when my children come from school, she has 3 children, children, thinking about Baba, thinking about Nan, Baba, she Doctor Baba, it's true. You don't eat at night, you can't fall asleep. You'll be awake, you'll get up in about 2 hours time, then there's food over you eat, otherwise there's food, there's no choice. So these are the sad plight of our nation that we have been left with. Indeed, this is sad. Another teacher comes to me, a Sinhalese lady. She comes and tells me, Doctor, I am teaching in a school where there are majority Muslims. There is a child who is to bring all her books, all the instrument boxes, pencils, erasers, everything on one particular day. If he brings on Monday, he doesn't bring on Tuesday. And if he doesn't bring on Tuesday, he doesn't come the next day. He doesn't bring the books the other day. I asked him, why didn't you bring your books today? He says, teacher, I hit again now. ඒ වගේ මේ ළමයා අනිවාර්යෙන් හිට ගේනවා. ඉතින් මට මේක පුදුමයි. එක දවසක් කියන්නේ තව දවසක් කියන්නේ නැත්te කියනවා. මම එයාගේ අම්මට එන්න කිව්ලා ඇහුවා ඇයි ඔයාගේ ළමයා දවසක් කර දවසක් පොත් ටික ගේන්නේ. ඒ අම්මා මට කිව්වා ડોක්ටර් මට මේ පන්තියේම ගෑනු ළමයෙකුත් ඉන්නා වෙන ඉස්කෝලේ එක. මම පොත් සෙට් එකයි ගත්තේ. එක දවසක් නෑ ගෙනියන අනිත් දවසක් ගෙනියනවා. Look at what they have made the society into. How terrible this is. So, one more thing I will tell you again is, even a father came to me recently, an old father, this happened just 2 or 3 days ago. He came and he was not sick. He was sad, heartbroken. He said, my son of 21 years went abroad. He went abroad and when he went, he said, I'm going to get money to build a house. He said, I will build a house for you, Papa. He said, I think if I didn't work enough, that I would put a roof over their heads, that my son of 21 is going abroad to build a house for me. I don't know what to say. If we have ears that could hear, eyes that could see, and a heart that is wet and soft, We have absolutely no moral right not to do anything about it. Be assured that with the certain victory of Rizvie Salih and NPP at the elections on the 21st of September, you and me and the citizens of this country would have contributed in no small measure to giving that relief that this society laments so much for. ඔගොල්ලෝ විශ්වාස කරන්න මං කියපු දේවල් මේ දුක්බල කතාවලට එකම විසඳුමයි තියෙන්නේ මේ බාලවන්ට බැරි වෙලා තියෙනවා දශක කීපයක් තිස්සේ මේ තත්ත්වය වෙනස් කරන්න. අපි 21 වෙනිදා ඕගොල්ලෝ දාන කතරේ මේක වෙනස් වෙනමමයි අනුර කුමාර දිසානායක මේ රටේ ජනාධිපති කරලා අපි මේ ප්‍රශ්නවලට විසඳුමක් ගන්නවමයි. තව එකක් මම කියන්නේ. Our manifesto was out today. One of the very salient features, I will 2 or 3 I will mention to you today because I touched on this. We would abolish VAT from essential food items. When I told you about mother eating only 1 meal a day, we will abolish VAT from essential food items, medicines and medical investigation, and school stationery and school books, because I told about the child who brings books every other day. We will abolish that. And when I told about the teaching, in fact, that teacher who told me the story said, I can understand. I sympathize with that mother, she said. I sympathize it because I am a teacher, and with the salary I get, and my husband is also a teacher, we are finding it so difficult to manage. I can understand the plight. So I told the mother, I will try to get a sponsor. I'm just completing what I'm get a sponsor for your other child. Teaching would be one of the 10 best paying jobs in this country, the NPP government. I think that is a very good news for most of you ladies here today, because most of the Muslim ladies, the young girls, opt to teaching because it is a job they are there, it's a day job, they don't have a shift, they work according to a regular routine. Another thing I would like to say is, in the manifesto it stated that every physically and mentally challenged child, every physically and mentally challenged child of a family in need would be given a minimum of 10,000 rupees monthly as a social security grant to parents who help that child out. Today we see in a lot of families when there is a mentally or physically challenged child, that whole family is destroyed. Even the other children are destroyed because you have to put so much of effort, so much of money and so much of attention this child needs. Sometimes the parents have to go to work. It's not enough one parent working. How on earth can they leave this child and go? So this grant is given so that if the mother has to work, the mother doesn't have to work. She can stay at home and look after her child. I don't think any other manifesto or any other person or any other party would have come to that, because God doesn't put things into those minds. God puts these things that only into minds that He knows will do something about it and who have compassion and softness in their hearts. With that, I would like to tell you, I want to remind you that Anur Kumar Desai and the NPP always stood and will stand on the side of all peace-loving citizens of this country. Our party, the NPP and Anur Kumar Desai, will stand on behalf of the oppressed, the voiceless, and those who have been threatened and hounded by forces against the peaceful and united Sri Lanka. We have always stood and always will stand by that category of people. We speak against oppression, marginalization and discrimination, not just for ourselves, but for the future generations to come in this country. With the elections coming soon, there will be lots of lies, I told you before, false propaganda, and even crocodile tears. Be strong. I'm requesting all of you to come here. Be strong. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived by crocodile tears. This is the plight that I told you we are in. So this has to change. They will come with different stories and all lies, fabricated things on social media, on WhatsApp. You can see the things that are going on around. You coming here this evening, it is a small step indeed, but it is in our great quest for a nation to be successful in the eyes of the world, stable in the unity of its people, and a safe place for our children. This is the type of generation, this is the type of world that NPP envisages to make. A nation that is successful in the eyes of the world, stable in the unity of its people, and a safe place for you and your children. This time, all these years, many of us, especially in our community, they have voted for the candidate and the party they thought could win, rather than the candidate and the party that deserve to win. They know in their hearts, it is this party, this candidate should win. But, they see, they put to the candidate who they think will win. This problem has been solved today because it is the NPP, the party your conscience says that deserves to win, and the party that you know would win is one and the same party. There is no difference. You think so and so deserves your vote, or Rizvie Salih of the NPP deserves your vote, and you certainly know this time there is no question about it this time. You know, yes, it is this party that is going to win, so you don't have to make any big decision there. Have no doubt, not even that of a mustard seed. It is the Jathika Janabalawege, and for certain it is Rizvie Salih who will be the president of Sri Lanka on the evening of 27 September when the results keep pouring in. Jathika Janabalawege, Jai Veva, Rizvie Salih, Saudara Jana Veva, Ape Mahumata, Sri Lanka, Jai Veva, Jai Veva, Jai